just one point I'd like to make, that I would like to also take this opportunity to thank the men and women who risked their lives to save the lives of all our officials. We really would like to thank them, and of course, as I said, we will work with the city of Joburg to make sure that we convey our appreciation of the prompt and swift response and the good work that was done to make sure that we save lives of our officials. Secondly, I would like to also thank our officials who have been trained in evacuation procedures and who actually worked very swift and very promptly to make sure that we successfully evacuate all the officials out of the building. I think it's very much important that we also thank them. And I'd also like to just make give an assurance to all our provincial government officials that we will also further improve measures, procedures, and all processes in case of any situation such as the one we have, fire breaking out, or any disaster that might happen, or any incident that may require that we evacuate people out of the buildings. We are really very much thankful to our officials who have made sure that we evacuate people from 23 floors and without any major tragic loss of life or any incident. I really want to thank them, and we will continue to strengthen, support them to make sure that if this type of disasters and situation happen, we can be able to save lives. I think with that, I can take questions, Mr. Masebe.
Okay.
If there are, and let me just indicate that I've got the HOD of Health who will take questions with me. I've got the HOD of DID and the acting HOD of Human Settlement. Just come close, Babazulu. And yeah, these are the, I think we're missing anyone from Kokta. Yes. Dr. Stoll is here. Right. So if there are any issues, some of the issues they can take up, but I'm in your hands.
Okay, let's do it quickly. Identify yourself.
Okay, it's Kani Mapanga from News 24. The first question is, please clarify the 3 firefighters that you said have passed. Does that include the one that's slipped and fell, plus the 2 that were still missing in the building? Please clarify that. And then workers allege that this is the 3rd fire that has taken place this year. Please confirm if this is true. And if that is the case, why haven't you taken action earlier than prior to today's incident?
Are you saying the 3rd fire here in this building?
Yes, workers have alleged that, yes.
Okay. Do we answer
I think,
to this?
let's answer this one. Let me see.
Now, let me also just indicate that as we should do, at this point, we are not. Can we just? Okay, sorry. At this point, we are not aware of what were the causes of the fire, and the city of Johannesburg, working with ourselves, will conduct an investigation into what caused the fire. And I would like to appeal to everybody that at this point, we do not speculate on the causes of the fire. We mustn't be tempted to try to find what could have been the cause if we do not have facts that have been presented to us by qualified people who will be able to give us the most correct scientific facts on what would have been the cause of fire. So at this point, we want to appeal. Let us not speculate on what could have happened. As the provincial government, City of Joburg, we will get a report from what caused the fire. The second point is, I've just checked with officials, and I think the officials of Kokta, Human Settlement and Health, you don't have the information. Okay. Okay.
Now the question about this is the 3rd fire that has happened. That's not correct. That is not true. But there's no other incident that has happened. We have our officials on the ground every day in the building, health and safety and facilities managers that would have told us. So it's not true.
So with the union saying that they've been addressing these issues since 2014, which have resulted in shop stewards being dismissed, is there any truth to that?
Can I just come on that? Okay. The information that the officials are giving is that they have not received those reports, but I will go and commission an inquiry with the unions, and I'll also make sure that we get a proper report on that so that we don't have so-so said, so-so didn't say that. We will get to the bottom of that and establish was there fire before in the building, and we will make that information public as we always do.
And in terms of clarification on
the three, I have, in terms of the information we have, the 3 colleagues who lost their lives is the 3, including the one that was earlier reported. So at this point, it is 3, including the one.
The final 2, was it the ones that were trapped inside that were missing?
I wouldn't want to speculate. I know that there are 3 people that were. The question she's asking is whether the other 2 were part of the 3 that were initially trapped. I wouldn't want to speculate on that. We are not sure about that fact. We will find out if the other 2 were part of the 3 or those ones have been rescued. These were the other ones. At this point, it will not be correct to speculate on that matter. Can I take another question?
Slinda Lomasigana from ENCA. What is the rescue plan moving forward for the people that are remaining inside? Secondly, you cannot tell me that this is the first time you're hearing about complaints about this building. Just last year, the Department of Labor issued a notice about this very same building, that it was inhabitable. Last week, I was at this building and the employees were pleading with government to be removed from this building. Less than a week later, we have this tragedy. The Gauteng Provincial Department cannot claim to have not known about the conditions of this building. Please respond to that.
Can I just clarify that we do not deny that not only this building, but about 8. I thought I clarified that last year, we commissioned an assessment of 8 government-owned buildings to check all the issues that have been raised about the conditions of the buildings. So that point, I think it's very clear to us there is a problem with government buildings in the provincial government. So we are not in denial about that point. And I think if we have created any impression that we didn't know, that will not be correct, because we're very clear. Otherwise, we will have not commissioned the condition assessment to check very accurately why is it that there are problems with our buildings. So that impression we will not create it. That is why I announced that on the 27th, we have now received a full report about each of the 8 buildings, so we are not in denial about that. The point that I would like to just further clarify is, at this point, we do not know, and maybe that could be the impression may be created. When we say we are not aware of what caused the fire, it doesn't mean we are not aware of the condition of the building. The 2 things are not the same, because even a brand new building can catch fire. We have had the Premier's office, which caught fire last year, and it's one of the what we consider to be one of the best buildings that is being maintained and in good conditions. It caught fire last year. So a building can catch fire because fire can be caused by different reasons. So that is why we are separating the issue of the condition of the building, which I've already announced that it is not compliant at all, and the real cause of the fire still has to be determined. If the report indicates that there was a clear relationship between the condition of the building and the fire that broke out, and that if it were not because of that condition, we wouldn't have had this, we will then look into the matter. Because there are also issues that we will be moving forward as part of our safeties, occupancy awareness and all that, that some of them will have to deal with. There are risks to our buildings, cable theft and many others, people bringing in electrical appliances into buildings, and those electrical appliances also do pose risk, particularly when it's hot and when it's extremely cold. People can bring appliances that are not compliant into the building. So at this point, I would like to plead that when we say we are not aware of the cause of the fire, which we shouldn't speculate on, it shouldn't be understood to mean we are saying we are not aware that the building is in bad condition. The building is non-compliant. 21% is just unacceptable, and we will also go to the other buildings and we will make appropriate decisions on all of them. I thought I must clarify that point.
Who's going to be held responsible for this?
Let's wait for the report. The report will definitely have recommendations and it will indicate who must be held accountable for that.
And the rescue operation? The rescue operation, what's the plan for the remainder? Because it looks like the fire is...
The emergency people are still
okay, let's not have can I ask you to just ask your questions so that we can answer them? Was that the last one?
The rescue plan.
Now, as I said, I've already announced that tomorrow and moving forward, no official will be allowed into the building. We have evacuated everybody. We will make an announcement about what will happen next, where will the officials report. One thing that has been made clear to us by the emergency services is that they are going to take over the building and do what they call the sweeping of the building. Until that process is complete, we will not be able to make any further announcement on that. For now, the building is in the hands of our emergency services, and they will give us direction on when can they clear the building and hand it back over to us, and then we can make further announcements on it. Thank you. Can we take another question? There's a question.
I think let's take the last one or two because you can see the fire is still on there. Right. So this place we may not be safe here ourselves.
Okay, can we take?
Yeah. From Power News. How
Yes.
soon will you take action on other buildings that are problematic? We've heard about the Home Affairs building as well. Apparently it also doesn't comply. Do you know about that?
No, Home Affairs is not in our portfolio, but the MEC will answer about the other buildings.
Yes, as I said, on the 27th, last week we received a detailed report. We are studying the report today. What we wanted to just deal with was the emergency situation that we're facing. Tomorrow, we will study the report because it has been handed over to us and we have just been made aware of the report. We will study it from tomorrow. We will make announcements on the rest of the other buildings once we have looked at the report. For now, we focused on this building, and tomorrow we will look at the report and make further announcements on it. Thank you.
Let's take,
Can I take another one? Yes.
She mentioned how there was a report from the Department of Labor since last year. Why is it that the workers were kept in this building after the report was released?
The Department of Labor, yes.
Also, why was that the firefighter wasn't wearing a harness when they found from reporting?
Why were not?
Why was not wearing a harness when he
Okay. Can I just ask the HODs if you want to clarify this issue of the certificate issued by the Department of Labor? I don't know if it was issued to... Yeah, you can speak to it. This is a DDG Zulu in the Department of Human Settlement. They can speak to that. Do you want to just clarify?
Yes. No, the Department of Labor issued a prohibition notice. Then after that, we engaged with the Department of Labor onwards to make sure that we fix the areas which were identified as problematic. Then at the end, it was revoked. And a new certificate was issued that we can occupy the building, but there were 4 floors in the building which we were not allowed to occupy. So what we did, we evacuated all the officials who were on those floors, which is floor 1, 2, 5, and 6, and we got an alternative building for them. So that's what happened. That prohibition notice was revoked at the end by the Department of Labor.
Can I just ask the HOD of Education to speak of health, to comment on the Department of Labor? HOD?
With regards to the Department of Health, we did not get a condemnation of the building. And we were waiting on the assessment which the GPG had been doing in terms of compliance of the building.
Okay, so that is the report that we have received. For those floors where there was a problem and they were condemned, the HOD indicate that the people were moved. Now, this is the Department of Human Settlement, and I think the HOD is indicating that in the Department of Health, there was never a notice condemning any of the floors, by the Department of Labor. Yeah.
Okay.
Any question?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Sorry, my apologies about that one. Let me just say, as the provincial government, it will not be correct for us to speak to that matter. I think we will also want to just have a consultation with the city of Joburg on the issue of the firefighters. I think that is a matter that we would prefer that there be an interaction with the city of Joburg on every matter that relates to the firefighters.